I'm Cynn, loop artist, singer-songwriter and guitar player. And in this video I'm going to talk about my gear, my guitars, my effects, how I use them and what works for me. If you like nerd stuff and weird sounds, stick around. So, a while ago I started playing guitar and mostly played 4-chord songs. Eventually, after playing lead guitar in a band, I got obsessed with guitar effects and making sound. And nowadays, guitar effects define me as a guitar player. Let's get to it. I have 2 guitars. This is a Fender Telecaster custom shop made in the US. It's tuned in E, except for the B string, which is 1 step down. And this is my second guitar. It's a Fender Telecaster Deluxe, made in Mexico. Really affordable, and this one is tuned down to D, so everything except for the B string, which would be an A, is tuned down to a G. I started experimenting with different tunings because I'm alone and I wanted to reach different colors in my chord playing. So I ended up with this tuning and this works for me. And behind me, this is my amp. It's a Fender Hot Rod DeVille 2x12. It's the first serious tube amp I bought many years ago. I have it for over a decade now. The only thing I change now and then are the tubes. The speakers are the same as they were and all the other stuff also. It's very solid, it's heavy though, and it's very loud. So for live playing on main stages, it's great. At home, I don't use it that often. Onto my board. I don't have any customized chain settings. I looked it up once, which was the best order, and went with it. I do count from my amp to my guitar, and I know you're supposed to go the other way around, but somewhere along the way something went wrong, and now I'm doing it backwards. Looking at my board, the chain isn't obvious. I put the pedals on my board where I can access them the easiest or the most efficient. I start out with the reverbs, then my delay, into the chorus, to the Enzo, the POGs, the OCD, and ending with the tuner. And the green one in the middle is a 3-at-1 channel switch from Lehle. That said, I play mono and I never use a clean signal. Why mono? Because stereo is great, especially on fancy huge stages with awesome tech guys. But now, at this point in my career, I'm probably the only one hearing it playing at smaller venues, so I decided to stick with mono. And I love reverb. That's why there's always a little bit of reverb coming from the Neunaber, and I have a little bit of overdrive coming from the OCD. So this is the clean sound coming from my amp without any effects. And this is my clean sound. I'm always tweaking and creating sounds for my songs, and most of the time I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. I'm just turning knobs until I hear what I like and go from there. So when I start writing music, I start out with a vibe or a feeling, and then eventually there's a sound. A particular sound often sets the course for the overall song. Let me demonstrate this by playing a verse from one of my songs called Not Forever. The Neunaber and the OCD stay on, and on top of that I activate the POG from Electro Harmonix just to keep a little bit of punch at the end, but getting that bass-like sound. Arriving at the chorus of this song, all these pedals stay on, but I'm activating one more for hugeness, and that's the Hall of Fame from TC Electronic. This is one of my favorite pedals. It's affordable and very easy to use. I only use one setting though, and that's the modulation, because I really like the vintage kinda old school vibes. The other 3 knobs depend on the venue I play in because there's always a natural reverb, but I have a basic setting where I go from. Like the Hall of Fame, I use one setting for each pedal I have, besides the Enzo and Timeline because they have presets. For me, that one setting has to be diverse, because when I'm playing live, I'm activating my loop station, I'm playing, I'm drumming, I'm singing. I don't have time to bend down to tweak the knobs again or to go to another setting. That's why I have one setting for each pedal, and that's why I own 2 POGs. For this sound, I used the Julia from Walrus Audio. Very nice chorus. Like the Hall of Fame, I'm using one setting. In this case, it's for dreamy parts or to make melodies pop. So I'm using my basic sound with the Neunaber and the OCD. I'm using the Hall of Fame, and to let some notes pop out, I press the Julia. Then over here, the craziest pedal I own. It's a synthesizer pedal from Meris called the Enzo. I use it along with the preset switch, using this pedal the same way as the Hall of Fame and the Julia. I have 3 presets and always use the Meris sounds in combination with the Hall of Fame for hugeness. Let's take a look at the Enzo. This is the first preset. This sound for verses or to glue parts together because it's very dark and very synth-alike. This is the second preset. And without the Hall of Fame, it's still nice, but like I said before, I love reverb. But just to hear the difference, this is without. And this is the third preset. At this moment, I can't recall all the steps creating these sounds. I'm glad there's a preset switch, so it's there and I can use it all the time. The other pedal I use with presets is the Timeline from Strymon. It's a solid delay with tons of options. I narrowed mine down to one bank with 2 options, A and B. Underneath A is a simple quarter delay. I use it for solos and melodies, because with the volume going up a bit, it cuts right through all the layers I created in my song. I can use this preset in all my songs because of the tap tempo. Underneath B is a more ambient kind of sound. I call it swell. I use it for emotional soft parts or just simply to glue parts together in my music. To power all my effects, I use the power supply from Strymon called Zuma. As you can see, my board is packed, and with the Zuma, I can almost power everything except for one. That's it! You've seen my gear, my guitars, my amp, and my effects, and how I use them in my songwriting. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate and leave a comment below. I am Cynn, and if you want to see more, take a look at my channel. I'm also on Spotify, Instagram, and all of that, so go check that out. For now, this is it, and bye.